The moment I stepped into the brightly lit hotel ballroom, holding my daughter's small hand in mine, I felt the weight of every poor decision, every sleepless night, and every quiet sacrifice pressing down on my chest. The room was filled with laughter, polished suits, elegant dresses, and the unmistakable confidence of people who believed life had worked out exactly as planned for them. For me, this reunion was never about nostalgia. It was about survival, about proving to myself that I had not failed completely as a man or as a father. I was a single dad who had arrived late, wearing a slightly worn suit, with tired eyes and a heart full of unspoken fears, completely unaware that this night would shatter me before it rebuilt me in the most unbelievable way. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of people who keep going even when life is unfair, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories like this, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support means more than you know. My name is Daniel Harper, and years ago, I never imagined I would be standing in that room feeling smaller than everyone else. Once, I had dreams just as big as theirs. I had been ambitious, hopeful, and deeply in love with a woman named Rebecca, who later became my ex-wife. We met young, married fast, and promised forever without understanding how fragile forever could be. When our daughter Lily was born, my world narrowed into something beautiful and terrifying. I wanted to be everything for her. But dreams don't always survive reality. I struggled financially after losing a promising job, and pressure turned love into resentment. Rebecca wanted a life of comfort and status, while I was drowning in bills, responsibility, and self-doubt. The divorce was brutal, leaving me with shared custody and a heart that felt permanently cracked. Over time, Lily became my anchor, the reason I woke up every morning and pushed through exhaustion with a smile I barely felt. The reunion invitation had arrived weeks earlier, and I almost threw it away. I knew Rebecca would be there, glowing as always, remarried to a successful businessman, living the life she once said she deserved. I imagined the looks, the silent judgments, the whispered comparisons. But Lily begged me to go. She said she wanted to see where I studied, to understand the past I rarely talked about. For her, I swallowed my pride. I worked overtime shifts, borrowed a decent suit, and rehearsed confidence in the mirror like it was a foreign language. Inside the ballroom, memories flooded back. The smell of expensive cologne mixed with polished wood and old achievements. Classmates recognized me slowly, their smiles polite but distant. They asked surface-level questions, and I answered carefully, never mentioning the nights I skipped meals so Lily could eat better, or the years I balanced work and parenting alone. Then I saw Rebecca. She stood near the center of attention, perfectly styled, laughing effortlessly, her hand resting on her husband's arm like a trophy she had earned. When our eyes met, I felt a familiar tightening in my chest. She walked over with confidence, looking me up and down in a way that made me painfully aware of my worn shoes and tired posture. She didn't need to raise her voice to humiliate me. Her words were soft, coated in false concern, but sharp enough to cut. She spoke about success, about moving on, about how difficult it must be to manage life alone. People nearby listened. Some pitied me, others judged. I felt Lily squeeze my hand, sensing my discomfort, and that hurt more than anything else. In that moment, I felt exposed, like all my failures were on display under the ballroom lights. I smiled through it, nodding politely, reminding myself that my worth wasn't defined by her approval. But inside, I was breaking. I wondered if coming here had been a mistake, if I had dragged my daughter into a room that would only teach her shame. As the evening progressed, I tried to focus on Lily. We explored old photographs, laughed quietly at hairstyles from the past, and for brief moments, I forgot the humiliation. Then something shifted. The room's energy changed subtly, like a current passing through the crowd. Conversations paused, heads turned toward the entrance. I didn't understand why until I saw him. A tall man entered with calm authority, dressed simply yet powerfully, surrounded by an unspoken respect. Whispers spread quickly, names passed from mouth to mouth. It was Marcus Reynolds, a billionaire entrepreneur, known not just for his wealth but for his humility and sharp mind. My heart skipped, not because of his status, but because I recognized him instantly. He was my boss. At work, Marcus Reynolds was nothing like the headlines described. He was observant, quiet, and deeply human. He knew about Lily. He knew I was a single father. He had once told me that resilience mattered more than resumes, and that statement had kept me going on my darkest days. I never imagined our worlds would collide like this. As he walked toward me, the room seemed to hold its breath. Rebecca noticed too, her confident smile faltering as confusion crossed her face. Marcus stopped in front of us, his presence steady and grounding. He acknowledged Lily first, praising her manners and curiosity, then turned to me with genuine warmth. He spoke about my dedication, my integrity, and the projects I had quietly carried through with unwavering commitment. He mentioned how my work ethic had inspired teams, how my character mattered more than any title. Every word felt like a hand lifting me from the ground. People listened differently now. The same faces that once pitied me were filled with surprise and respect. Rebecca stood frozen, the truth settling in slowly. The man she had just dismissed was standing beside one of the most powerful people in the room, not as a subordinate to be overlooked, but as someone valued and trusted. I didn't feel victorious in a loud, triumphant way. What I felt was peace. A quiet validation that my sacrifices had not gone unnoticed, that choosing integrity over image had shaped a future worth living. The rest of the evening passed like a dream. People approached me with new interest, conversations shifted, and Lily looked up at me with eyes full of pride. But the most important moment came later, when we left the ballroom together. Outside, under the night sky, Lily hugged me tightly. In her embrace, I understood that success wasn't about wealth or recognition. It was about being present, being kind, and staying true even when the world tries to make you feel small. If this story has touched your heart, if it reminded you that quiet perseverance still matters in a noisy world, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe for more stories that speak to the soul. Your engagement helps these messages reach people who might be struggling silently. And before this story ends, I want to ask you something from the heart. Comment below with a simple message about a moment when life humbled you but later surprised you with hope, because your story might be the light someone else needs today. That night didn't make me rich overnight, and it didn't erase years of struggle. But it gave me something far more valuable. It gave me dignity, clarity, and the deep understanding that life rewards patience in ways we cannot predict. I walked away not as a humiliated ex-husband, but as a father my daughter could believe in, and a man who finally believed in himself.